The recording has started.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillahi wa kafa. Assalamun ala ibadihi allazina astafa amma ba'd. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wallazina jahadu fina lanahdiyannahum subulana. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wa salamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammadin wa barik wa sallim. We begin this majlis with the beautiful name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we send salutations on His Mahbub, His Habib, and our Mahbub, and our Habib sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to increase us in our love for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, His Sunnah, His way. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us with His intercession on the Day of Judgment. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He allows us to visit Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in our dreams. Inshallah, before we begin the majlis, please send salawat on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammadin wa barik wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammadin wa barik wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammadin wa barik wa sallim. Today's first Hadith Mubarakah is a very fundamental Hadith Mubarakah that is the core of what we call the Sufi way, or the Tasawwuf, or Ilm al-Ihsan, or Tazkiyah, and it is the core to Islamic spirituality. This Hadith Mubarakah has been related by Nu'man bin Bashir radiyallahu ta'ala anhu قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ألا وإن في الجسد مضغة. Verily there is an organ within the body. إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله. Such that when it is sound, the entire body is sound. وإذا فسدت فسد الجسد كله. And when it is corrupt, the entire body is corrupt. ألا وهي القلب. No, verily that organ is the heart. And this very famous Hadith Mubarakah has been related by Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, Imam Tirmizi, Imam Nisa'i, and Imam Abu Dawood. As I said, that this is really the crux of what we call the Ilm al-Ihsan, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this organ, this qalb, this heart, and the state of the heart dictates the state of the amal that will come from us, and the state of the amal that come from us will dictate the halat that we experience in our lives as well. So this is how it goes. So for example, if the heart is darkened, if it is hardened, if there's rust in there, right, then the khayalat, or the thoughts, will be accordingly. Thoughts of the dunya will be there, thoughts of makhluk will be there, frivolous thoughts, and even to the extent that really, really bad, filthy thoughts will be in our mind. And then accordingly, our body will going to act accordingly, right? That we will engage in filthy actions, that we will engage in frivolous actions. And it is a circle. So the more frivolous actions we do, we heard in a previous hadith that a dark spot appears on the body. If a person does not do tawbah and does that action again, then another dark spot appears on the heart as well, till the heart becomes really darkened. So dark heart leads to dark actions, and dark actions lead to dark heart. And so the whole body becomes corrupted. Now everything that comes from this body, this wujud, this existence, is going to be corrupted. No good comes from this person. This person is a liability to themselves. It's a liability to others around, right? And so this is why it is so important that we become people who take care of our hearts. And this is why we do zikr, because zikrullahi shifa'ul qulub, that the zikr, the remembrance of Allah Ta'ala, is the shifa, is the cure of the hearts. And a similar hadith mubarakah as one that we had read before has been related by Malik that he heard from that Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu said that لا يزال العبد يكذب ويتحرى الكذب فينكت في قلبه نكتة سوداء حتى يسود قلبه. And this has been related by Imam Malik in his Muwatta that the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may lie or attempt to lie so that every time he does so, a black mark, a dark mark is made on the heart until finally his whole heart is darkened. Right? So, very similar. So, here specifically we're talking about lying. And that is why lying is such a bad thing because a dark spot will appear on the heart till the whole heart is darkened. And you can imagine that there's no light in such a heart. Right? So, this is very related to the hadith that we just heard before that when a person, their heart is corrupted, then everything that comes from the heart is corrupted as well. So, this is the basis of Islamic metaphysics, Islamic spirituality. This is the basis of how we understand human nature, human psychology. Right? A lot of times when we feel depression and stress, fear of the unknown, this may be the reason. Right? It could be that it's a chemical issue with your brains, but also the issue is that because we engage in such actions, now there's so much darkness within that now we have to battle with our thoughts. And some people say that, I have such thoughts coming in my mind that I have to keep on battling them, even including suicidal thoughts. And this is shaitan coming in, and you're not worthy of anything, you're worthless, you're wasting your time, nobody loves you, nobody cares about you. Hmm? Why don't you just do a favor upon everybody and just get rid of yourself and kill yourself? Na'udhu billah min zalik. Where are these thoughts coming from? Shaitan, because now he has full access to that dark heart that we have within. Right? And so we need to enlighten the heart again with the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Verily, there's no doubt that zikrullahi shifa'ul qulub and ala bi zikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. That not only is it the shifa, but also it brings tatma'innul qulub. Tatma'innul qulub means the peace and tranquility and solace of heart. Right? A heart that is wounded, it will bring it marham, it will bring it ease that we are looking for. And so why don't we try this, right? Why do we have to always go on medication and depend on medication when we have such an amazing thing that we have access to? And that is the zikr of Allah, send salawat and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, bring mindfulness and a sense of presence, inshallah ta'ala, and you will feel that slowly and steadily the heart will mend itself with the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? The next hadith Mubarakah has been related by Abdullah uh, Abu Mas'ud al-Badri radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He says that Rasul Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam prohibited the proceeds from the sale of a dog, the bride price of an adulteress, and the offerings made to a soothsayer. And this has been related by Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, Imam Abu Dawud, Imam Nasa'i, Imam Tirmizi, and in the collection of Ibn Majah. So we need to reform because you do find that at the present time many so-called Sufiya are involved in these things. For example, they're lax about accepting offerings even from women from the bazaars, questionable occupation, right? And they earn money by selling talismans and charms, etc., etc. This hadith Mubarakah clearly states that these are blameworthy practices. So these are sort of practices we need to reform in the turuq, in the suluk, that we need to avoid such things. Okay. The next hadith Mubarakah has been related by Asma radiallahu ta'ala anha, and she related قالت قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم that one who attempts to show oneself in possession of what one does not really possess is like one who wears two false garments. Very profound hadith. This has been related by Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, Imam Abu Dawud, Imam Nisai, and Imam Tirmidhi. Right? What is it telling us? Right? The classical commentators point out that the reason for the duality here, two false garments, may be to point out that the person is falsifying two circumstances. Right? First, that he has nothing, meaning is bereft of any spiritual accomplishments, and secondly, that he is incapable of giving to others, incapable of instructing others in the way of the spirit, in the ruh. Others are more literal in their explanation, saying that the references to two customary garments worn by Arabs at the time, the upper and the lower garments, signifying that such a person was false from head to toe. Allahu Akbar. Now, what is the spiritual implication? Like pretending to be a master by appearing to be a master. Okay? Since the words of the Hadith Mubarakah that what one does not really possess are general. They may be understood to include spiritual accomplishments. For this reason, the Hadith Mubarakah may be understood as critical of those people who, despite their lack of spiritual ability, persist in appearing to others by what means of their speech. They're very articulate in their speech, their flowery speeches, or their actions, right, pretending to, or their clothes. They wear specific kinds of clothes. They will wear the imama and the jubba and put on a chadar and whatnot when they are people of fiqh. They're people of fiqh, right? Now, this is not to say that you should not follow the sunnah of imama and jubba, etc., etc., but it means that we really need to rectify our ways. If you're pretending to be pious, then be pious. Or stop pretending to be pious. Right? And so we pretend to be like the most accomplished of all spiritual masters. Hmm? And this becomes very blameworthy when such people also pretend that they are able to instruct others. Huh? Yes, that I'm going to give nasiha, that I'm going to become a person that gives advice to others. Huh? So it's this is like a very deep level of nifaq that is present. The next hadith Mubarakah has been related by Mu'az bin Anas رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said that anyone who out of humility shuns fine clothing when they have the ability to wear it will be called by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment before all of creation and given the opportunity to choose whatever garments of faith they would like to wear. Allahu Akbar Kabir. This hadith Mubarakah has been related by Imam Tirmidhi. The garments of faith, huh? What do we mean by garments of faith? These are those that will be given in recompense for the degree of one's faith. Then, in the same way that faith differs in terms of how it is practiced, likewise the garments of faith will also differ in quality. The person in the Hadith Mubarakah may not necessarily be deserving of the finest of these garments owing to the quality of their faith. However, owing to their humility in regard to dress, they will be given the choice of the very best garments of faith in the next world. Now, how can we utilize this in our own spirituality, right? As you know, like we're living in a time, in an era where attention to outward appearance, zahir, has become paramount, where we don't give any attention to our inward appearance. Right? Zahir has become paramount and batin has become something that we ignore. Our jism and jasad have become paramount, and when it comes to our ruh and qalb and ikhlaq, we don't pay any attention. Now, the practice of the masters in this regard differs. Some paid no attention either way, neither to their appearance nor to their disregard of the same. On the other hand, the attention or disregard of some masters was clearly intentional. And we're talking about one's appearance, outward appearance. In all cases, the matter hinges on their intentions, right? إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Now, this is not to say that you start wearing really dirty clothes, etc. No, this is to say that your priority is our inner self. Our priority is our inner self. That we rectify our inner selves, that we beautify our inner selves, and that outer appearances are very secondary, tertiary. Now, somebody can say that I wear these beautiful clothes so people have a good, um, you know, perception, right? Good perception of the deen. Alhamdulillah, innamal amalu bin niyat. Yes, you can do that, but not so you get hung up on this, these clothes and this makeup and this and this fala and this fala, right? So you cannot get hung up on that. I always share the story that I experienced myself. That one time I was riding the subway system, the train station in New York City, when there was a very ajib, very strange ad there. And this ad had people's faces on it, and those people, had wounds, bleeding wounds on their faces. It was very eerie. And so everybody was naturally looking at it, and I went and read what it said, because it said, imagine if this is what your face looked like, because this is what your liver looks like if you have hepatitis C. So it was a info ad about hepatitis C, because it really affects your liver in a negative way. And they were saying, if this is what your face looked like, you would do something about it. And they're saying that if you have hepatitis C, don't take it lightly, because that is what your liver looks like. It is wounded, it is bleeding sometimes, etc. And so it was a powerful message, and the message was very clear. And the spiritual message there was, imagine if what our heart, the darkness of our heart, if it were to manifest itself on our faces, we would do something about it. If there's dirt or ink on our face, don't we clean it? Right? Similarly, if the hardness, the rust of our hearts was to manifest itself on our faces, we would do something about it, meaning we only care about what is outward and what is on our zahir. Because that's what our heart is like inside, and we feel it every single day. When we're unable to cry, when we sin again and again without any disregard to what we're doing, right? No haya, no modesty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So it's very ajib. It's very ajib. We pretend to be pious in front of others, but when we're alone, we act in a very criminal way. In a very criminal way. It means we don't care about Allah. We care about how others feel about us, but we don't really care about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cares about. So this is like something we really need to pay attention to. Okay? The next hadith Mubarakah has been related by Abi Zamil, and he relates that Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu said to him that when the Haruriya or Haruri tribe revolted, I went to Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and he told me to go to them. So I dressed in the best of my Yemenite clothing, and when we met, they said, "Welcome, O son of Abbas, what clothes are these?" So I replied, "Don't find fault with me, for verily I have seen Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wearing clothes even finer than these." Okay? This was related by Abu Dawood in his collection. Now, the explanation of this hadith, is related to what we explained in the previous hadith. This hadith is evidence for the usage mentioned there. No one should entertain the doubt that this hadith Mubarakah supports the position that constant attention must be paid to one's appearance. That's not what we're talking about. This is because such attention would mean that a habit would have to be made of attending to one's appearance, and that's clearly not a good thing. That's clearly not a good thing. If, however, a special occasion requires that a master pay special attention to their appearance, then there's no harm in that. So, for example, sometimes on Eid, they will pay attention because, Eid is a time of happiness. And, in this specific case, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu were going to a tribe that have revolted. So the robe of Muslims have to be made. The robe of Muslims have to be made. Right? The actual practice of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba Kiram Rizwanullahi Ajma'in was a lack of attention to their personal appearance. And again, that doesn't mean to keep yourself dirty. Okay? Yeah, Nabi Sallallahu was the cleanest of people, and he paid special attention to that. It means that you don't get stuck up in, oh, these are the kinds of clothes that I have to wear. And just because Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam wore fine clothes once or twice, it doesn't mean that that was his habit. Okay, so he wore it so people would know that yes, you can wear them. You can wear them, but don't get stuck with them. Don't build your self-image based on them. Look at me, look at how I look, and look at how other people are paying attention to me. That is clearly wrong. So the Hadith Mubarakah should be understood as indicating not disregard for their parents, but a lack of attention to such disregard. Okay, so it just wasn't part of the equation. This wasn't something that they used to think about all the time. Right? And this is why we know from history and from a hadith that Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that when he conquered Al-Quds, and may Allah ta'ala help us to see that day again very soon, inshallah ta'ala, he went there. And, we all know the story that, he said to, his slave and servant that, it is not right that I should be the one who should be riding the camel and you should be the one walking. We're both humans and we both get tired. So they decided that inshallah ta'ala, they're going to switch every now and then. And we all know that when Al-Quds came, it was the time for the servant to ride the camel. And he said, no, Amir al-Mu'mineen, you should be the one. He's like, no, it is your time. This is the adl, this is the adl of true mu'mineen. That no, it's your turn and you should be the one doing. And he entered Al-Quds in that way, and he had patches on his clothes that he was wearing. The greatest of the mu'mineen, right? Amirul Mu'mineen, Hazrat Umar Farooq Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu, this amazing, amazing Sahabi, and he's wearing clothes where, there's a lack of attention, right? A lack of attention to what he's wearing. Because they were all about the inner self, true Iman, Ihsan, Taqwa. These people were such amazing, amazing human beings, honestly. We just have to just keep on reading about them and try to imbibe ourselves with their seerah. Allahu Akbar Kabira. Such amazing people. Allahu Akbar Kabira. The next Hadith Mubarakah is a short one. It has been narrated by Abu Rimtha رضي الله تعالى عنه قال رأيت على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ثوبين أخضرين. That he says that he saw two green garments on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And obviously you find this in Imam Tirmizi's collection, but it has also been related by Imam Abu Dawud, Imam Nisai, and Ibn Majah as well. It's the regular practice of some Sufiya to be dressed from head to toe in clothing of the same color, usually white, but you can have any color. Now, obviously, if they do this in order to show off, then it goes without saying that it is blameworthy. On the other hand, if they do so out of some practical consideration, like if they find that clothing of one color or another shows less dirt and wears longer, these are pragmatic, practical reasons, there's absolutely no problem with that. So, for example, some will wear white because we find that Rasul Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam liked white. But if you wear some other color, that's okay as well. That's okay as well. And if somebody wears it, so I don't have to mix and match, and if they wear clothing of the same color, so I don't have to match black with this color and blue with green, and that's even better. So you don't have to, you're not paying attention to that sort of thing. Okay, so this gives you an understanding of the practice of some of the masters, that they used to wear clothing of the same color, or dress from head to toe in clothing of the same color as well. The next hadith Mubarakah has been related by Abu Burda رضي الله تعالى عنه قال that I went to see Aisha Siddiqa رضي الله تعالى عنها, our mother, and she took out for us a rough blanket and a thick izar, saying, these are what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was wearing when he was taken. Allahu Akbar. This has been related by Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, Imam Tirmizi, and Imam Abu Dawood. A rough blanket and a thick izar. So some Sufis, regularly wear woolen blankets. Obviously, it's not a surprise to us that some people say the name Sufi actually came from the word for wool, which is suf. Now, as long as this is done for the reasons other than hypocrisy or showing off riyah, this hadith Mubarakah may be said to be the source for such a practice. This thick izar is basically wearing wool, right? Our blessed Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, passed away in those, in that thick izar and the rough blanket. Huh? The greatest of the Anbiya, Imam of Anbiya, right? Rahmatul lil Alameen, right? This was what he used to, wear, and this is what he had, a rough blanket, right? He did this, right? And look at the Ummah today, right? Look at the Ummah today. Look at what we have become. Maybe once or twice we should just wear thick wool, or wear or use a rough blanket, just because Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did this. Right? So just for our own connection with Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, we should do this. Again, not for hypocrisy, not for showing off, not to become people who are ostentatious. The next hadith Mubarakah is also very similar. It has been related by Abdullah ibn Masud رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. The Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that on the day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to Musa alayhi salam, he was wearing woolen trousers, a woolen jubba, floor length shirt, right, jubba, and a woolen blanket and woolen sleeves. Suf. Sarawilu sufin, wa jubbatu sufin, wa kisa'u suf, wa kummatu suf. This hadith Mubarakah has also been narrated by Imam Tirmizi, rahmatullah ta'ala alayh. Now, this hadith is also pointing in a very complete manner to what was mentioned before about the sort of clothing that the Anbiya used to wear. Right? What is the occasion that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's tajalli, the manifestation, is happening? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to Musa alayhi salam on Kohi Tur, Mount Sinai. And what is he wearing? Woolen trousers, woolen jubba, woolen blanket, and woolen sleeves. Allahu Akbar Kabira. So again, just to follow in the footsteps of the Anbiya and our blessed Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, maybe once or twice, and not, if you don't feel comfortable, don't wear it in front of others. Just do it, within your room. So we have this nisbah, we have this connection with the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam as well. The next hadith Mubarakah has been narrated by Sahal bin Sa'ad radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He said that Ali radiallahu ta'ala, Ali bin Abi Talib radiallahu ta'ala anhu, went to Fatima to Zuhra radiallahu ta'ala anha, And in this hadith, Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha told Ali radiallahu ta'ala to go to a certain Jewish merchant and buy flour from him. When Ali radiallahu ta'ala was buying the flour, the Jewish merchant asked him, "Are you not the son-in-law of the one who claims to be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's prophet?" Ali radiallahu ta'ala replied, "Yes." Then the merchant said, and listen to this, "Then take your money, the flour is yours for free." And this has been related by Imam Abu Dawood. It's a very interesting hadith Mubarakah. You have a Jewish person, a Jewish merchant, who once he finds out that Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu is the son-in-law of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, "Go ahead, the flour is yours for free. Take your money. I don't need your money." Allahu Akbar. And now, the question becomes, what about accepting gifts and favors from the disbelievers? Right? Clearly, this is a person who has not brought Iman on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, at least till then. Now, some of those critical of tasawwuf have objected that the masters are known to have accepted gifts and favors from non-Muslims. This hadith Mubarakah shows that such objection is baseless. However, if such acceptance is linked to a corrupting factor, or if non-acceptance is linked to a good reason, then it will be better not to accept. And another point made clearly by the Hadith Mubarakah is that if someone's reputation as a master, for example, or someone's relationship with someone who has such a reputation leads to another sincerely offering them a service or a favor, then there's no harm in their acceptance, because this will not place them in the position of selling their religion. Okay, but again, it should not have a corrupting nepotism or that sort of thing effect. However, if someone supposes that owing to their own reputation or to their own relationship with someone with such a reputation, they are deserving of favors, I deserve this, then that person is clearly guilty of hypocrisy and self-delusion. Okay, so some people will, I am Falan and Falan's son, I'm Falan and Falan daughter, and I know such and such person, so people should treat me differently, people should give me favors. This is clear hypocrisy, this is clear corruption, and this is clear self-delusion that we should try to stay away from. Okay, but this hadith Mubarakah, especially when it comes to what is happening nowadays in Al-Quds, this kind of stood out, that you have people who still have respect and honor for Muslims, okay, even from amongst the Jewish people, right? And they will stand up for truth and justice, and we have to recognize that as well, okay? Because we are people of adl, of justice and truth. That is what our commitment is to, right? Truth, haqq, and adl. Okay, we have to become people. These are some of the things that should be really like fundamental to who we are. Number one, sadiq, honest people. Amin, trustworthy people. Adil, just people. Just people. And shuja'a, brave people. People of shuja'a. This is something that we should all aim to have. No lying, no defrauding others, no lack of other injustice towards others. And justice is defined by Sharia, not what we think is justice. Justice is defined by Sharia. And last but not the least, we must become people who are unafraid, who are not weak from their hearts. We're not afraid of what people might do to them. Okay? We only die once. Okay, so it's better to die once than to die every single day, because of that weakness of heart, because of how weak we have become, because how afraid we are. Get rid of this fear. Get rid of this fear. You have to conquer your fears. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our Rabb. There is no other Rabb. Do not make other people your Rabb. Do not be afraid from them. When our time will come, our time will come. When we have to pass, we'll have to pass. Nothing can stop that. Okay, so die with honor and dignity. Die with Iman rather than being afraid trying to live a couple of more years, being afraid and Allahu Akbar Kabira. The next hadith Mubarakah has been related by Aisha Razila Ta'ala anha, relating an incident in which Utbah, owing to his having had a son from an adulterous relationship with a slave girl from Zam'a, instructed his brother Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas Radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu to consider the child in accordance with the pre-Islamic Arab custom, his nephew. When Sa'ad Radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu came to claim the child, Zam'a's son, Abd ibn Zam'a, objected. Abd ibn Zam'a objected, saying that the boy was his brother and his father's son by the slave girl. So when the matter was referred to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he noticed the strong resemblance between the boy and Utbah. Despite this circumstance, however, he said, "The boy is yours, that is your father's son and your brother. O Abd ibn Zama, for verily a child belongs to its legitimate parents." Thereafter, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered Sauda bin Zam'a, his wife and the daughter of Zam'a, to cover herself when the boy was present, even though in accordance with the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's decision, the boy was technically her brother. Right? Now, there's a lot of fiqh aspect here as well. This has been related by Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, Imam Abu Dawud, Imam Nisai, and Imam Malik. The legitimacy of the relationship between owner and slave was accorded precedence over the adulterous relationship. Right? And if the boy was in fact her brother, then it would not have been necessary for Sauda to cover herself in his presence. However, despite the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's ruling that Zam'a was the boy's legal father, and the boy was therefore Sauda's legal brother, it was obvious that Utbah was the boy's birth father. This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam took the precaution to ask Sauda to cover herself in the presence of the boy. So prudence, obviously, is very important, and one of the better known Islamic legal axioms is what is known as obstruction of ostensibly legitimate means for illegitimate ends. Right? And inshallah, you will cover that in fiqh as well when you will do it, and to make covering under those circumstances into a matter of faith is extremism. To cover, however, simply as a matter of prudence is a different matter entirely. Right? So we need to appreciate such subtleties, and that are present within our Sharia. So how can we use the Hadith Mubarakah for spiritual aspects? According to the Sharia ruling, Sauda was permitted to appear before this boy without covering. As far as the Sharia is concerned, yes, because the ruling has been made that the boy is her brother. However, as a matter of prudence, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ruled that she should cover herself. And this clearly establishes the legitimacy of the practice of avoiding the lawful for the sake of prudence. Okay? However, to do so without a good reason, or to turn the matter over to one of belief, aqidah, right, will clearly be a form of religious extremism. So, we have to learn these subtleties. When is something wara and taqwa, caution, and when is something, just extremism. Right? So we have to be careful about this. And again, this is why we turn to our elders, our mashayikh, and our ulama to give us guidance in such matters as well. Very important hadith mubarakah. This has been related by Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu قال, that Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu said that Rasul Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw a man chasing after a pigeon, and he said, "There goes a devil chasing after another devil." Allahu Akbar. This has been related by Abu Dawud. There's a saying that whatever takes you from remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is your devil. Yeah? whatever takes you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is your shaitan. And this is a well-known teaching amongst the Sufiya. In this Hadith Mubarakah, the pigeon is referred to as a devil only because the man chasing it had forgotten about everything else, including Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not because, na'uzubillah, pigeon is a devil in itself. No. It's because now this has become a devil for this person because this person has forgotten everything to its exclusion. Yeah? So forgetting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala includes forgetting one's religious duties, religious responsibilities, whether towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or towards one's family or one's community. Right? All of these are religious duties and responsibilities. Now, there's a difference between recreation and obsession. And this person running after the pigeon obviously is an example of the latter. It is sad to note, however, that there is a popular notion that somehow pigeons and pigeon keeping are incompatible with Islam. Right? No, that's not the case. Right? And such same misconception exists in regard to, let's say, dogs, going to other hadiths. Right? Clearly, if anything is to be learned, it is in regard to how people sometimes lose their sense of perspective and they ignore their responsibilities. Right? So, for example, you can raise dogs as long as they're not inside your house and you avoid their saliva. Right? To suppose, however, that the purpose of the hadith is to point out that the pigeons are evil is completely absurd. Right? For even an even-handed account of how Rasul Akram Sallallahu viewed dogs and valued their forms and characteristics, right? There are you can there's a book preferring canines over many of those who wear clothing that you can actually refer to as well. Okay. The next hadith Mubarakah has been related by Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu that Rasul Akram sallallahu stated that the Almighty says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the sons of Adam distress me. The sons of Adam distress me. They curse fortune, but I am fortune. In my hands I hold the command for all that happens. I turn night into day. Very important. This has been related by Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, Imam Malik, and Imam Abu Dawud. When people curse fate, qadr, taqdeer, nasib, oh, it's my fate, or cursed, na'udh billah, or fortune, they're actually cursing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who determines the fate of everything in the universe. It is part of our iman, wal qadri khayrihi wa sharrihi min Allah ta'ala. Right? The Arabic word that is used is dahr. Yasubbu dahr wa ana dahr. Right? Dahr is used to mean fortune and fate because these things come with time. And the original significance of the word, is a long and indeterminate period of time, or in other words, an age, an era, right? So we have been told not to curse age, time, or what we call fate. It was my fate, not to curse it, right? Allahu Akbar. Now, what are interpretations? Almost obviously, the Almighty and time are not the same thing, right? In the Zat itself. So, this lack of unity, however, according to the explanation given in this Hadith Mubarakah and its translation, a literal superficial connection can be made between the two. According to the experts, this explains how, in some popular Sufi sayings, they say all is He, right? All may be connected to He, right? The meaning of all encompasses all things in addition to their deeds and the effects of those deeds, all of which is controlled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the one who actually and in reality does the disposing as an independent entity is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. So all, quote unquote, is really nothing at all, and He, quote unquote, is everything. Right? Um, Mulana Rum rahmatullah famously said, there is no I, there's only he, right? He, only who. So this hadith Mubarakah may be offered as support for the saying that all is he. Not in a literal sense. Please don't take this in a literal sense. In other words, in the same way that the hadith seeks to establish Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a determinant of things and to negate any notion of fortune as a determinant, the saying establishes the independence of the creator and negates the independence of the created. That's all what all is he means. That the independent is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything, and this is what is known in philosophy and ilm al-kalam as contingent. Everything is dependent, everything is contingent on the one that is contingent. Okay? Inshallah ta'ala, you will read that. If you take some courses in falsafa, especially in ilm al-kalam, inshallah ta'ala, you will read what that means. Dependent being and independent being, contingent and non-contingent, right? Things like that. Inshallah ta'ala, we will end um, today's session with this hadith mubarakah. Inshallah ta'ala, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to become people who benefit from the sayings of our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, bring them into our lives, and may Allah ta'ala bring the noor that comes with the words and actions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in our lives as well. May Allah ta'ala help us get rid of all the darkness within, all the depression and stress within. May Allah Ta'ala allow us to become people who are attached and connected to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala at all times. Ameen ya Rabbul Alameen wa akhru da'wana anil hamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. For a few minutes, inshallah ta'ala, close your eyes, bow your heads in humility and humbleness. Let go of all the thoughts of the dunya and everyone in this dunya. Bring your attention down to your qalb, to your heart, 2 fingers below your left chest. And with niyyah, with intention, feel Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's tajalliyat, anwarat, fiyuzat descending upon us, entering our qalb, and feel that our qalb is absorbing those tajalliyat. Feel that all the darkness, feel that all the hardness and rust is exiting it out, and feel that your qalb is saying, Allah, 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 and that you're listening to it, inshallah. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Make dua inshallah ta'ala. Subhana Rabbi ala al-Wahhab. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammadin wa barik wa sallim. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. اللهم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك. اللهم يا مصرف القلوب صرف قلوبنا على طاعتك. يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم يا أرحم الراحمين. يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث. يا مالك الملك يا ذو الجلال والإكرام. يا الله. Oh Allah. Ya Allah Kareem. Oh most compassionate, most merciful, most beneficent. Our Rabb, our nourisher, our sustainer. Ya Allah Kareem. Allah Kareem, you're such an amazing Lord, Ya Allah. Allah, you're so beautiful, Allah Kareem. You're so loving, Ya Allah Kareem. Allah, you have given us everything, Ya Allah. You have given us everything. Allah, Allah, we sit in front of you, Allah Kareem, beseeching you, Ya Allah, that you accept us in your grace, Ya Allah Kareem, beseeching you, Ya Allah Kareem, that you, Ya Allah, fill our hearts with your muhabbat, your ishq, Ya Allah Kareem, beseeching you that you fill our hearts with iman, with the noor of iman, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, we want to feel the sweetness of iman. Allah, we want to enjoy, Ya Allah, the sweetness of doing sajda in front of you, Allah. Allow us to make du'as to you, Ya Allah Kareem. Allow us to only ask you, Ya Allah Kareem. Allah, allow us to, Ya Allah, do your zikr. Sit in your zikr, Ya Allah Kareem. Allah, help us grow this affinity for dhikr, and Allah, allow us to feel the zikr by every atom of our existence, Ya Allah. Just like every atom of this universe does your zikr, Allah. Every atom of our being should be doing your zikr, Ya Allah Kareem. Oh Allah, Allah, give us a life of piety, righteousness, virtue. Allah, make us people of haya and modesty. Make us a people of wafa, Ya Allah Kareem, and loyalty. Make us people who are Allah centric in our lives, Ya Allah. Make us people who are akhirat centric, focused on our akhirah, Ya Allah Kareem. Oh Allah, we ask you that you give us ilm, knowledge that benefits us. Allah, give us ability to act upon that ilm, Ya Allah. And Allah, give us ikhlas, give us sincerity in our actions, give us ihsan, give us beauty, Ya Allah Kareem, and mindfulness in all of our actions, Ya Allah Kareem. Oh Allah, we ask you that you, anybody facing any trials and tribulations in their lives, Allah, that you make it easy for them. Anybody who are stuck in any circumstances and situations, Allah, make it easy for them. Allah, those who are trying to do hifz, make it easy for them. Those who are trying to gain ilm, make it easy for them. Oh Allah, give them tafaqquh fi deen, understanding of the deen, Ya Allah. Allah, help us control our nufus, protect us from our nafs, Allah, protect us from shaitan, Ya Allah Kareem, protect us from bad company, Ya Allah Kareem, protect us from bad thoughts, Ya Allah, protect us from bad desires, Ya Allah Kareem, protect us, Ya Allah, from bad emotions in our heart. Allah, help us control our lust, help us control our anger, help us control us, Ya Allah Kareem, in terms of, Ya Allah, our connection with this dunya, Ya Allah. Take the love of this wretched dunya away from our heart, Ya Allah Kareem. Make us like Umar Farooq Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu. Allah, make us people who are focused on our inner self, Ya Allah, not stuck with our outer self, Ya Allah. Allah, have we become this superficial, Ya Allah Kareem? Oh Allah, make us deep people, Ya Allah. People of real thought, Ya Allah Kareem. People of real vision and real direction, Ya Allah Kareem. Oh Allah, help the Ummah, Ya Allah Kareem. Help Muslims wherever they are, Ya Allah. Make us one again, Ya Allah Kareem. Help our brothers and sisters, Ya Allah Kareem, who are being targeted and who are being attacked in Gaza, Ya Allah Kareem. Protect them from the cruel enemy, Ya Allah, they're facing, Allah. Oh Allah, protect their lives, protect their belongings, protect their wealth, Ya Allah, protect their iman, Ya Allah Kareem. Oh Allah, protect our sisters and mothers and daughters there, Ya Allah Kareem. Allah, we cannot bear their tears, Ya Allah. Allah, help them. And Allah, wake up this ummah, Ya Allah, that is in slumber and sleep, Ya Allah Kareem. Wake up this ummah, Ya Allah Kareem. How can we be so hard inside when our mothers and daughters and sisters are being attacked daily, Ya Allah Kareem? And Allah, we are off living our little lives, stuck in our little bubbles, Ya Allah Kareem. Oh Allah, please help the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Oh Allah, use us for the khidmat of the deen. Help us serve the deen with sincerity, Allah. Allah, help us become people who are not ostentatious, who don't show off, Ya Allah Kareem. Allah, take away this nifaq away from our hearts, this hypocrisy. We are fake people, Allah. We are fake people. Oh Allah, make us real, genuine, authentic Muslims, Ya Allah Kareem. Oh Allah, make us like our elders, like the Sahaba Kiram, like the Salaf Salihin, Ya Allah. Help us, Ya Allah. Help us follow Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam completely and utterly. Help us stay attached to the Quran in this month and in the year coming, Ya Allah Kareem. Help us, Ya Allah, attach ourselves to beautiful company, Ya Allah, of our elders and our mashayikh, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, make it easy for us. Ya Allah, make it easy for us. Allah, accept all our du'as with your rahmat, fazl, karam. खुदा बंदा मकसूद है मन तो ई बरज़ाए तू मेरा मोहब्बत व मारफत ज़ौक़ व शौक़ खुद बिद्दे सल्लल्लाहु ताला अला खैरि खल्क़िही मुहम्मदिन व अला आलिहि व अस्हाबी अजमईन बिरहमतिक या अरहमर राहिमीन या अरहमर राहिमीन या अरहमर राहिमीन आमीन या रब्बल आलमीन. Jazakumullah khair wa ahsan jazak fi darain. May Allah accept all of our du'as. Inshallah, keep each other in your du'as as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.